My lifelong idol has been Joseph Stalin, so we're talking about communism today. I guess we're talking about the pros of communism, and he is a bloody American, so he's talking about the cons of communism. Whee!
One of the cons is the lack of individual freedom and liberty, because communism basically, like, you get less freedoms with the rules, and with China, they can't even do most of the stuff that we can do, so what's the point?
It's my turn. Okay.
That's true, but people in communist countries are equal. Sure, that's something most people don't want, but equality is good. People are always talking about equal rights. Well, equality for you. Communism's the way.
And the USSR was communist. Everyone knows that. They're the only country that did not suffer from the Great Depression because their economy has always been sanctioned and everything. But everyone has a job at all time. You can't really get fired.
Right. Well, there's limited economic freedom and innovation. The standard of living is whatever the leader chooses, and most of the leaders out there, like Kim Jong-un, is pretty terrible guy if you really think about it. Especially with his one-party dictatorship. Like, I feel like there should be more of a idea on what we should go on, and with the rules. So, yeah.
That's true, but it's also a stable economic system. Their government dictates an economic structure, therefore instability is out of the question.
Okay.
That was
I will say the pro thing about communists is there is not really, besides the president or the leader, there's not really like everyone has the same amount of money. They get basically the same pay. So, and the Soviet Union actually benefited from the Great Depression because everyone was buying out of them. They started buying out of them because they could cheaper. They made their prices cheaper because they could, and without losing money. The economy is very stable.
Yes, but it's an abuse of power, as it's like giving our president all the rules, and as you can see, most of our presidents haven't been too great of people. So, imagine them being communism. What we'd have to be through, how many wars we'd be forced to do, how much forced labor. When you think about that, it's not a great thing.
That is true, but there's little to no competition in communist societies. Everyone can work harmoniously without stepping on each other's toes. Nice. Work responsibility. Work responsibility and rewards are shared equally among everyone. So a harmonious economic development can be maintained.
Yeah, but what about, like sports? We won't have that, and if we do, whatever the leader wants to win basically wins. Because it's his idea, it's his political view of the game, and it would be just a lack of rights in a way, and a lack of tradition. So,
That's a very very good point. But most white people suck at sports. That's just my personal opinion.
China is the only communist country that decides what who wins. For Russia, they actually compete a lot for it. And if you look at like the Russian skiers or ski team and stuff, they're actually very good at it, the sport.
All right. What about the inefficient agriculture and food shortage? For shoot
Food.
food shortages because they don't have a pretty much a levels of the human race of poor and the average, the low income, the rich people, and then the 1%. Well, yes, we are the average, which is the most people, but without us and them, how do they get farms and deliver food or just have farms in general, um, and then other products or things that we need to live, like water?
That's a very very good question. Most communist countries don't actually give their workers good work environments. That is true, but it's spread equally among the people. So multiple people working a bunch of hours for little pay can actually be a pretty big deal.
And also, most communist countries, you're allowed to start farms, but it can't seek any profit just for the family.
Yeah, but the lack of incentive for hard work and success is because like everyone's guaranteed like a basic standard of living regardless of their efforts. There may be like little to no motivation to even work hard or be productive where they are. So, as including again, don't want to go off of it so much, but decreased standard of living because of the pay, um, and with the less motivation, they really don't care to begin with because that's all they're used to. But again, like if you had to live where they lived, how would it feel for you?
I don't know because I don't live there. But in the Russian territories, I know they have some rule uh, over the dictator, and they can like make some rules. But yes, you can actually get rich off of some stuff because they will give you some of the profit if you like start a business with the Russians and you help them.
Yeah. That is a very good point. I can't really talk much about what it's like in countries like China and Russia because I don't live there myself. But try it, I dare you. You won't. No balls.
Well, I could see how communism in some ways is a good idea and a bad idea because we have way too many people here. I don't want to go off topic, but like the jail system is very out of control, including like all the actual like 25-30% of the people that are actually what is it, not guilty, they're innocent, they're actually witnesses and otherwise unguilty. But within that society of it's kind of like communism but in a jail what we have over there. And with all of that, it just feels unfair because of what we have and what we've accomplished without communism.
I'm up here now. Yeah, that's a very good point. There are plenty of cons to communism, but there's also a good side. There's no really black or white with communism, except for racism.
Well, that's it. So,
Yeah. I mean, but I will say there are, like Jameson said, good and bad sides about communism. I would say they just need a little bit more food production, just work on it a little bit, and it'll probably be okay, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for me. You guys make a pretty good argument. I think I made a pretty good argument. Let's see what the comments have to say. Are you pro for communism or con? For or against?
I don't only think communism has more pros than cons. I'm also a pro-communist.